The Louisiana Ragin Cajuns hold off the South Alabama Jaguars to win the 2023 Sun Belt Championship. It's Locked On Sun Belt.
You are Locked On Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sun Belt. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. It's your team every day. And can we just start out by saying that was one heck of a college basketball game and a great atmosphere for a tournament game, a conference tournament game. Cajuns do win at 71-66. But, I mean, what was the biggest lead that they had? The biggest lead that the Cajuns had was 6. The biggest lead that the Jaguars had was 7. It was nip and tuck all game long. The Cajuns couldn't pull away. The Jaguars ran out of gas, and the Cajuns couldn't pull away. And then the Jaguars couldn't take advantage of all the Cajuns' mistakes. And I'm going to say right now, I did it yesterday. I'm going to do it again today. I'm going to confuse Cajuns, Jaguars. All right. In my mind, they seem like the same word. I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to screw that up. So stay with me if I misspeak. Also, again, I'm doing this podcast because I've covered both the Jaguars now and the Cajuns prior. So bear with me tonight. It was a great basketball game. The game plan that the Cajuns had was different than they had before. Jordan Brown, coming into the ball game, had missed 5 shots out of 27. Twice against the Cajuns. 22 out of 27. 13 of 15 his last time out, which was 10 days ago, Friday. So they just double-teamed him. Every time he got the ball on the block, he hit a couple of jump shots, but he was not nearly as effective as he was the first couple of games, except he rebounded well, and he found Themus Fulks. Themus Fulks, for people who don't know, he's an outstanding, he's really super quick, very good defender, and penetrates to the bucket. He does not shoot three-pointers. He made 3 tonight. He's a lot like Isaiah Moore, who also made a three-pointer tonight for the Jaguars. So far, so good. The Jaguars, all right, and this is not a great matchup for South Alabama. It's just not with the size that the Cajuns have. In Jordan Brown, in Terrence Lewis, they just in Joe Charles, they just have too much size compared to what the Jaguars have, which is basically Kevin Samuel, Marshall carrying off the bench, Owen White, pretty good, but they got 6'6" Judah Brown trying to stay in front of Themus Fulks. No, he's not covering somebody his height at least. So they are very physical and they are tough to keep up with. But South Alabama took it right to the Cajuns. They held a 4-point lead at half. In fact, oddly enough, the Cajuns, again, I got it wrong. The Jaguars led at half in all 3 games this year. Lost all 3 games. About midway through the first half, the Cajuns started to take over, and Isaiah Moore had this great ball game for South Alabama. 33 points, 10 of 20. He was 12 of 15 free throw from the free throw line, and that was one of the differences in the ball game. We'll get to some others as well. We told you Themus Fulks was outstanding for the Ragin Cajuns, but some of the shots that had been going in all weekend didn't go in. They rolled out. He must have missed about 4 or 5 shots, not bad angle shots that you can see never had a chance. The ones were halfway down and rolled out. So that was one of the differences of the ball game. And the Cajuns' game plan actually worked. They didn't allow South Alabama to shoot threes, right? South Alabama, we said February 14th, we posted it. How dangerous is South Alabama? If they could get the 3-pointers going, they're a dangerous basketball team. And they have been all through the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, but they were 3 for 11 in the first half and then 0 for 4. And we'll get to the last one a little bit later. 3 for 11 in the game, I should say. 0 for 4 in the second half. Whereas Louisiana was 8 of 17 in the first half, 8 of 17 in the game, 3 of 6 in the second half. Following the ball game was interesting. Bob Marlin, head coach of the Ragin Cajuns, who again we're going to try and get on the podcast here this week. They have, a week and they get almost a week and a half before they play another ball game, whether it's Thursday or Friday. They said they said it was funny. They said the Jaguars didn't respect Themus Fulks because all they were going to do is double team Jordan Brown, and that's what they did. The thing is, though, this is what Themus Fulks has been shooting overall: 1 of 5, 5 of 9, 3 of 6. That was against the Jaguars. Against Georgia Southern, he was 1 of 4 in the tournament and 1 of 9. He's made 2 of his last 13 shots, and 4 of them have been threes. He may shoot more threes than Isaiah Moore. He's made 11 of them. He made 3 tonight. It wasn't lack of respect. It was beat us, and Themus Fulks did. Right? That the Jaguars have to live with one of a couple of things. You're going to have to live with either Jordan Brown eating you up, or in this case, it was Themus Fulks and Jalen Davenport, which we'll get to as well. Whereas the Cajuns' game plan was we'll live with Isaiah Moore, hitting twos. We're not going to have Judah Brown shoot threes. We're not going to have Greg Parham shoot threes. We're not going to have Owen White shoot threes. All right, because you can have a 1-point game give you a 9-point game very quickly, and so on and so forth. And Judah Brown didn't score at all. Played 23 minutes, had 1 shot attempt. That was it. 1 rebound. He was in a little bit of foul trouble. Turbo actually had a big ball game, not necessarily offensively. 8 points, missed a key free throw down the stretch, but okay. He had 10 rebounds and 4 assists. That was his best ball game of this, not of the season, but of the tournament. That's for sure. But the Cajuns were willing to let Isaiah Moore go to the bucket, and more than a couple of rolled out. And I know the differential in the game is 5 points. Make a couple more free throws, and a couple of more of those, layups go in, and it's a different ball game. All right. Kevin Samuel had a strong ball game, 12 points, 6 rebounds for South Alabama, but he did a really good job on Jordan Brown. He was a tournament MVP. Jordan Brown, 6 of 16, but a lot of that 6 was jump shots. He's a pretty good player. He's a really good player. He only had 13 points, but he still grabbed 16 rebounds. Rebounding wise, these teams were even. Like 31 to 27, that's pretty even. But Owen White, right, he's been Mr. Three-pointer. He didn't make one. He had 12 three-pointers in the tournament in the first 3 ball games, did not make one tonight. And we'll get to the last shot as well. All right, so let me see where we are. All right, so this would be a good time to take a break because we will talk about some of the differences in the ball game. The strategy, again, was for the Cajuns to let Isaiah Moore beat you, but we're not going to let the 3-point shooters beat us. And for the Jaguars, it was to, I think I said that right, double team Jordan Brown and let somebody else beat you, and Themus Fulks did. That's unfortunately what happened to South Alabama tonight. All right, we will talk more about this basketball game and where South Alabama came up short. We will do that right after this. I'm going to tell you about Built Bar, and let me tell you, yesterday morning, I weighed in at my low under 207 and a half. Now, that's going to go up because I had a nice big hamburger in Pensacola for lunch, but Built Bar has been such a big help while I try to lose weight. And, I know we're much closer to, St. Patrick's Day than we are to the December and New Year's holidays. But my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. If you're like me and you want to eat healthier, but don't want to compromise taste, then man, I've got the thing for you. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious. You won't think they're good for you. Perfect for your New Year's resolution. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy. Only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today. Walk to the pharmacy section and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate or coconut puffs. Or if you're close to Sam's like I am, run in, grab 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank me later. And I'm out because, again, we commuted. It is exactly an hour from my driveway to the Pensacola Base Center. And so instead of picking up candy bars for the trip down there and maybe the trip back, I'm eating maybe more than I should, but I feel better that it's not a lot of sugar and they're filling. They really are filling, and it's helped me lose some weight. So I'm very helpful with that, and we're looking forward to going back to Sam's and restocking because I think I bought them all on Monday and they may be all gone because again I downed them. All right, we have 2 packages. I'm telling you, I'm eating a lot because I'm in Pensacola all day long. All right, Dave Schultz back on Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, so the big differences here, and this is where South Alabama couldn't do anything about it, is the Cajuns fouled Kevin Samuel when they had the chance. And why wouldn't you? All right, he's not a good free throw shooter. He did make one of his first 2, I think, but proceeded to miss 7. And you feel awful for the guy because he really worked hard tonight. He only got 6 rebounds, but there were a lot of times where there are team rebounds. I think there are 2 team rebounds. There are a couple of times where he was able to tip the ball up and either get it back to a Jaguar or tip it out of bounds off of the Cajuns. So he really played hard, had 12 points, 5 of 7, did what he could, was double teaming Jordan Brown with either, it was Parham or Turbo or anybody who came over. Judah Brown came over a couple times, Owen White. But they were going to live with Themus Fulks beating them, and they did. So that was the free throws were a big problem. Turbo Jones misses 1. He's one of the better free throw shooters in the league, but that was a big one because it would have tied the game up with under a minute to go. Isaiah Moore missed 3 free throws, but he's 12 of 15. It's kind of tough to say, well, if he made all 3, if he went 15 for 15 from the free throw line, okay. And Kevin Samuel missed 7. Those are killer free throws. Again, so the score is a 5-point game, but it's really not a 5-point game. It was really a 2 or 3 point game. And somehow, I want to look at this play-by-play because it just felt like it was I think it was 65-56. Let's see where we are here. It's 65-59. Sorry, 65-59. Cajuns on top. All right. Themus Fulks makes 2 free throws to give them that 6-point lead. All right. Turbo Jones hits 2 free throws. That was a bad foul. The Cajuns fouling way away from the bucket. All right. But he makes 2 free throws. Isaiah Moore then makes 2 free throws. Jordan Brown actually missed the 1-and-1. So they went from a 6-point game to a 2-point game. Okay. Then Jordan Brown had another turnover. Isaiah Moore misses. It says a jumper, but again, those went in and out, man. They did get a steal by Turbo Jones with 53 seconds to go, but he only made 1 or 2. Jalen Delacourt with a big shot at the end to make it a 3-point ball game with 26 seconds left to go. And then Isaiah Moore went to the bucket, had a bad angle, wasn't going to come close to getting in, but 2 free throws. And then, so it's a 1-point game, 67-66. They foul Terrence Lewis. He makes 2 big free throws at the end of 13 seconds left. You're exhausted. It's been a long season. Now, they've only played 3 ball games compared to the Jaguars 4, but nonetheless, he's just as tired. Makes 2 big free throws. And then Owen White got open for a 3, or certainly open-ish, and the ball went in and out. He was holding his pose like he thought he made it. I tweeted it out. That's how close Jaguars Owen White came to tying this game up. And I'm looking at Richie Riley, and I don't see his reaction until his hands are on his knees as the ball goes in and out. So, so close for Owen White, who really, he helped beat App State. He had 26 big points against Southern Miss, a season high, and he hit a huge 3-pointer to hold off James Madison. He had a tremendous tournament, but the Cajuns did a great job not coming off Isaiah Moore. And I've heard that for years when talking with Bob Marlin, when I cover the Cajuns, is like, we'll give you the layups, okay, but we're not going to give you the threes. We're going to chase the shooters off the 3-point line. And that's what they did. And they did a really good job for it. Again, the Jaguars are going to look at, they didn't get the 3-pointers. They didn't make 3-pointers. And the free throws they're going to feel bad about that. But again, it was mostly Kevin Samuel missed free throws. It's kind of tough. Turbo misses 1. He's 3 of 4. Isaiah Moore, 33 points, 12 of 15. On the other side, you did have, a couple things happened on the other side. First of all, Greg Williams ended up with turf toe. He played 12 minutes, but didn't play in the second half, so he was injured. You had, let's see here, Joe Charles played 22 minutes trying to chase Isaiah Moore around. That didn't go very well, and he didn't score. But Jalen Davenport had 3 big threes as well. He was 3 of 4. I mean, they shot a solid, again, 8 out of 17 and 3 of 6 in the second half. So Davenport was big, and Themus Fulks were big. When the Jaguars were winning, they had 3 or 4 guys in double figures. They had 2. Isaiah Moore and Kevin Samuel had 45 of their 66 points. Turbo Jones 8. Owen White had 6. Judah Brown, who has been really good, didn't have any. And Greg Parham, really the difference in this tournament for the Jaguars. He had like 16 and 17 points, respectively. He got hurt in that first game before the app game, so he made a free throw down the stretch. But he was awesome coming off the bench, 16 and 17. I mean, he's playing 23 minutes. It's not really coming off the bench. He just doesn't start the game. He comes in like 5 to 6 minutes after the game starts. So he's playing most of it. Marshall Curing with 2 points. But Greg Parham was 2 of 7 in the game. And again, they had a lot of shots go in and out. This game very well could have gone in the other direction. I'm not saying Louisiana was lucky. I would say that Louisiana had their game plan work, and South Alabama's didn't. They were going to stop Jordan Brown, which they kind of did, right? He missed 5 shots against him in 2 ball games. He missed 10 on Monday and held him to 13 points. But Fulks had 23 points. Lewis had 12 points, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And Delacorte was 5 of 9. From the free throw line, Louisiana, who's not a good free throw shooting team, made 9 of 12. Jordan Brown was 1 of 4. In fact, I think they did take him out at the end of the ball game to prevent the Jaguars from following him. So it was just a great basketball game. It was a fantastic basketball game. I think, what was there, 14 or 13 ball games? Let me see here. 13 ball games. Yeah. 9 were single digits. Only 4 double-digit games. This was a good ball game, and both teams should be proud. And I know the Cajuns, first time they've won it since 2014. They will be going dancing. All right, when we come back, we will wrap up our Lockdown Sunbelt. We will eventually, get to the football portion of the show, but we just want to put a bow on the basketball season because it was a tremendous season. You had the preseason pick, the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns going up Cinderella against South Alabama, who, again, repeatedly throughout the weekend when more and more people were coming in, no one wanted to play South Alabama, and we all saw why. But first, let me tell you about FanDuel. It's the midway point of the NBA season, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss a chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockdown. That's FanDuel.com/lockdown to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, let's see if I can. I don't know if I got a Sunbelt. Oh, hold on a second. It is Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's see if I can remember who the all-tournament team was. Jordan Brown from the Cajuns was your MVP. Terrence Lewis was on the all-tournament team. I don't think Themus Fulks was. Isaiah Moore made it from the Jaguars, along with Owen White made it. Mason Harrell made it. and maybe Terrence Edwards from James Madison made it. I don't think I got an email on that yet. But those guys were it, and I kind of feel like those guys all deserved it. Terrence Edwards actually is like JMU's best player, and he comes off the bench. So that was a great tournament. It was just an overall great tournament. We had the one snafu with the women's Troy and ODU game, and I actually have an explanation for that now. So again, if you didn't know, a couple of days ago, it may have been, Friday, because I wasn't there. So Friday, and we talked about it yesterday, Troy lost to ODU because ODU had 6 women on the court, 5 on the court, 1 passing the ball inbounds. Apparently, talking to people at the game, nobody saw it. We mentioned it. None of the Troy players said anything. None of the coaching staff said anything. The only person who saw it was one of the ODU players who was jumping up and down on the sidelines, ended up grabbing one of the girls off of the court just to make sure if anybody looks backwards. Nobody saw it. Nobody knew about it until after the game. Then it's too late. Then I'm like, okay, it is what it is at that point in time. But apparently that's reviewable. Apparently, if someone had notified the officials or someone said something, they could have said, all right, let's look at this. Now, the person who told me this, like, they're not sure if they can erase the layup. I'm not sure if that's the case. That doesn't seem right. Like, if they made an illegal play, they don't get to keep the illegal play, right? Although he did say they would, Troy would get 2 free throws and the ball, so they would have been down, could have been down 1 with the ball with 2.5 seconds left to go. So I'm not sure how true that is, but nobody at the maybe the guy keeping the book was trying to get the ref's attention. Apparently not doing it good enough, but there was a lot of noise and you couldn't hear. And you could see the Troy players didn't say anything, and you can see the coaching staff was drawing up a play. So they weren't talking about anything. So that was an update on the one snafu that the Sun Belt had, and they handled it as best they could. The game was over. We're not going to replay it. And the refs who made the mistake aren't going to call another game. Sorry, you guys screwed up. Everybody saw you screwed up, and we're not going to put up with it. So, say la vie. But other than that, JMU, I should mention, JMU, the winners, the women's championship. So, congratulations to the Dukes. They win the Sun Belt Women's Championship. That was earlier before the Cajuns and Jaguars on a Monday. All right. But overall, great tournament. Again, going back and forth exactly an hour from my driveway in Midtown Mobile to Pensacola. So, or to the Pensacola Base Center. It's about another 5 to 8 minutes off of I-10. So it's really convenient for me. Would have been nice to stay down there for a night, but I guess I got a lot going on back here in Mobile. So it was just a great tournament, and congratulations to the Ragin Cajuns. We'll see that it could be an interesting matchup. If they're going to be a 16 seed, obviously that's going to be a tough draw. I don't know. So, that's not going to be easy to do. Let me see what they are. They've won a bunch of basketball games, haven't they? Before we go. So it'll be interesting to see where they're seated, if they can get a 15 seed. If they get a play-in game, maybe they get a win, an NCAA tournament win. They got 26 wins. It'll be interesting to see where they're seated. I guess we could quickly check basketball. I thought that we saw that they were in the 80s. Not really high, because we were actually looking for if there could be multiple NIT bids. And usually that's not the case. Like, could Southern Miss get an NIT bid? Well, they get the automatic NIT bid being the regular season champion. And obviously the Cajuns are going to go to the NCAA tournament, but does like a Marshall end up getting, an NIT berth, or James Madison? I don't think they do. Let's see if we can find Louisiana. Their rank is 90th. So, I mean, they're going to be tough. They're going to be hard pressed to get anything but a 16 seed, despite winning, I think, 26 ball games. All right, thanks very much for tuning in to Locked On Sunbelt. Really appreciated covering the conference tournament. Was a lot of fun, and we're headed home, so we may take a break. We'll decide what the case is. If I can get some episodes recorded pre-trip home, so that would be helpful. So we'll see if we can do that and keep it going, because again, spring football is underway. I know Coastal Carolina is already practicing, so they're going strong already. All right. Once again, I am your host, Dave Schultz, and you've been listening and watching Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.